Tesenkov, and welcome to my class Agile Scrum Product Development. And today we're going to discuss complexity versus time estimation. The Scrum suggests to estimate the user story complexity by using the story points, not by implementing time. This video will not cover the story points estimation. However, here we will talk about the complexity estimation versus time estimation. Also, we have to understand it is not linear function between these two measurements. Sometimes more complex job may take less time than less complex, and vice versa. Alright, let's say we need to paint the room. The room wall dimensions are 10 by 15 by 15. The size of the area that needs to be painted in room number 1 is 600 square feet. And the painter can paint it in 4 hours. Very easy task. Now, take a look at room number 2. Room number 2 wall size are different from room number 1. But the area that needs to be painted is exactly the same as a room number 1. It's 600 square feet. Can the painter paint the room number 2 in the same amount of time as he spent to paint room number 1? Probably not. This room is much thinner. The painter cannot use a roller extension stick. The complexity same, but the time required is longer. Let's take a look now at room number 3. The wall dimensions are the same as the room number 1, 15 by 15 by 10. The wall area is the same as room number 1, 600 square feet. But this room has baseboards. The painting area is smaller. It was reduced by the area of the baseboards. The complexity is getting higher. We don't want to paint the baseboards. We have to protect them with the green tape, or we have to use the brush to paint around them. Would it be correct to say that we need less time to paint this room rather than room number 1? No. Even the area that needs to be painted is smaller, then complexity is higher. Now, let's take a look room number 4. The dimension of the wall are the same as room number 1. The area of the walls is the same as room number 1. Room number 4 has the baseboards as the room number 3. And now we add the crown molding. The area that needs to be painted is smaller than room number 1 and even less than room number 3. It was reduced by the area of baseboards and the crown molding. The complexity is higher. Would it be correct to say that we need less time to paint this room than room number 1 or room number 3? No, it requires more time. But how much more? We don't know, because painting and applying green tape are two different tasks. Can we say that protecting the baseboard and the crown molding by the green tape require the same amount of time? Again, probably not. In order to apply the green tape to the crown molding, we have to reuse a ladder. Then we have to move the ladder around the room, and we have to go up and down, so it takes more time. What we found so far: the working area is the same, but working time is different. The working area is smaller, but complexity is higher. Same type of work may have different complexity. Now let's take a look room number 5. The size of the area that needs to be painted in room number 5 is 300 square feet. Room number 5 is smaller by half than the room number 1. Can we say it takes half the time to paint this room compared to the room number 1? It could if the same painter paints the room, paints the both room. Different painter requires different amount of time even to paint the same room unless they are both trained to do the same job in the same amount of time. Let's go back to the room number 3. And we have a team of 2 painters. What if painter number 1 paints faster than the painter number 2? But painter number 2 is faster in applying the green tape to the baseboards. Working as a team, they can paint this room in 4 hours. Let's say painter number 2 is sick and doesn't show up to work. Can we say it takes double time from the painter number 1 to paint this room, and he can finish it in 8 hours? Again, maybe not. It takes longer from the painter number 1 to apply the green tape. But we have very good manager who found replacement quickly. Can these 2 painters finish the room in 4 hours? If we say resource number 1 equal resource number 2, both resources require the same amount of time to get this work done. But we can't say the human 1 equal human 2. Both humans may require different amount of time to get this work done. If new painter can paint as fast as the absent painter, or faster, then yes. If new painter paints slower, then no. We don't know the new team velocity yet. Also, it's very important, these 2 painters work as a team. We will discuss the team velocity in another class, but in the meantime, I want to say that we haven't established the team velocity yet. Okay, it takes several jobs to complete before we can say how those 2 painters are working together as a team. Here we have 2 rooms of the same size and 2 painters. One is taller than the other one. How should they paint these rooms? These are 3 ways to go about it. The first approach is the shorter painter paints the room, the bottom half of the left room, and the taller painter paints the higher half of the right room. And after they're done, they switch. The second approach, they start and finish some room by themselves. The third approach is that each of them paints the same room till it's completely done. Would be efficient. In the first approach, we don't know if they can finish at the same time before the switch. It's possible one will wait for another one. In the second approach, the waiting time before the room can be used is twice longer than if they both work in the same room till it's done. Now, what if both of them start to paint the same room? Then shorter painter paints the bottom half and the taller painter paints the higher half of the same room. In this case, room number 1 would be available much earlier for use, and then both of them start to work on room number 2. What we found? The estimation should apply to the team, not individuals. The team produce more work faster than the individuals. So that's what I want to say about the complexity versus time estimation. If you have more questions, please visit my website fromtimetoaction.com and stay tuned for another classes.